What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and today I am coming at you guys because we're going to be taking a look at um, Zoodiac. Right? We're taking a look at my pure Zoodiac deck list. I have been I had hinted about this a couple of days ago that I was building Zoo, and I was getting ready to pretty much put Zoo and a few more other things up for the channel before the year ended. And Zoo is a very strange deck, not because of kind of because of where it stands, but because of how Zoo just went like that. And it got a lot of praise. I think one of its big praises is because of a lot of the newer Beast support, Beast Warrior support, or Beast family support. Because we're going to include Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast. And that's pretty much where it came to. So thank Tri Brigade and Alpha, the Master Beast, for being that big inclusion. Incidentally, there were a lot of changes as well because we did get Dryden back to 1. We also did get a lot of the extra support to it. And Zoodiac was never really a deck that was bad. It was just so good that it had to take its massive hits in order for it to fluctuate. So, all right, with that little bit of discussion on, why don't we go ahead and just go through the deck list itself. So, starting off, we got my 3 copies. We got 3 copies of Throwblade, 3 copies of Whiptail, and 3 copies of Ram. I'm running 2 copies of Bunny Blast with a copy of Raptier. Following Raptier, let's move on to the rest. We have the Alpha, the Master of Beast, with 2 copies of Nibiru, the Primordial Being. I got a full set of my hand traps in the forms of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and 3 copies of Effect Veiler. For the spells, 3 Tinky, 1 Zoodiac Barrage, 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Pot of Avarice, 2 Pot of Desires, and 1 Monster Reborn. Then for the trap cards, 3 copies of Infinity Impermanence and 3 copies of Solemn Strike. For the extra deck, we start off with the Zoodiac monsters. We got 1 copy of the Big Girl, Zoodiac Dryden. We got 1 copy of Hammer Kong, 2 copies of K9, 2 copies of Burbo, 3 copies of Tiger Mortar, with 2 copies of Divine Arsenal, AA Zeus Sky Thunder. Then we got our links. We got Halquify Bricks. We have Celine. We got Fortress Megalops. And we have Excess Code Talker. So that rounds out the entire main and extra deck. And then just a couple of keynotes. Some cards of here and there. You have your multiples of Zeus and Nibiru. Dimensional Shifter, which I heard is really good in this because it helps deal with hand traps. You have you have the Tri Brigade engine, because the Beast family support can be very, very good. I have seen some people playing Drill Driver Vespianato, just in another extender to climb up the material for Sky Thunder. So Sky Thunder's effects can really pop off. Duster for the master removal, multiple pot cards, just to have the multiple pot set up. Disparity was something I was questioning. I'm still kind of on the fence of it. And then Zoodiac combo because it's just another extended pot first. But it can also be a good exceed material. So, alright, I have talked about all those pieces. Now let's get on to the main deck. So everybody knows Zoodiac extra deck monsters gain their attack and defense based off the number of Beast Warrior monsters that are used for them. Let me just make sure that is correct. Okay, based on the Zoodiac monsters that are their material. Okay, so correction. Good thing is, all the Zoodiac monsters have some really good offense, while some have some really good defense. Now, the thing about it is that as their material for their Exceed monster, that's when they start giving those additional effects. One of the biggest additional effects is Whiptail, who has the ability to banish whatever your opponent. When the Exceed monster battles the opponent's monster. Throwblade gives it piercing, which can be resourceful in some situations. But my favorite 2 happen to be here with Ram and Bunny Blast. Bunny Blast deals with spells, while Ram deals with traps. The only thing is Ram is more of a quick effect, while Bunny Blast is not. However, they both have the ability to do the whole, negate the Instagrace card, which is either Ram dealing with traps, or Bunny Blast dealing with spells, or an effect that targets the card. So that can also be useful there too. And then you can just attach the material. I think the reason why Ram Ram has the quick effect attached to it is I think because Ram Ram got the reprint and she didn't, which sucks. But it is what it is. It happened because I think she still says yeah during either player's turn. So I get that is technically what a quick effect is. So hey, or no, I mean it's more so the play of words is I think the thing. But I mean either way, you got someone to help you deal with those situations. And then the other one, Raptier. Raptier to me is kind of like the combo starter, but also a nasty combo starter because it can get pretty nasty with Raptier. We've seen the old days with multiple Raptiers helping with multiple Exceed summons, getting multiple copies of Dryden onto the board, having all these material. Then you can drop something like a Borbo and then swing at your opponent directly and just cause some massive damage. Which is part of the reason why Raptier had to be hit to one. Now, if we had multiple Raptier, I probably wouldn't be running the Bunny Blast. But I'm running the Raptier in the Bunny Blast because I want to have those options and also be able to deal with spells because that's what Bunny Blast is here for. Like I said, she's here to help deal with the spells. Um, and Raptier can be the additional cards you summon because you have the effects of Barrage. Now, other than that, I think I have the Zoodiac thing down packed. Going on to the rest of the monsters, we have Alpha, which is just a very great summon. He got a lot of going for Alpha. Only downside to Alpha is that, well, Alpha can't attack directly. If Alpha could attack directly, this would be a different story. I guess that's why you can use cards like Skill Drain or Axe of Fools, but we're not running those cards. We're running Alpha because Alpha has a bounce effect that can even be used on itself. And once you get that bounce going, you can get rid of a lot of things that will be in your way. And Alpha can just help the other monsters, go into what they were doing to initiate the final blows or initiate the stun. Then Nibiru, because Nibiru, and you got your hand traps in the form of Ash Blossom and Failer. Blossom dealing with cards that revolve around the deck or special summoning from the deck. And then Veiler dealing with monster effects on the field. Veiler's also here because of the Link climb. Because you can go, Halki Fibrex, go get Celine. Celine can help you go into XS called Talker because she is a spellcaster. So you got those benefits there. Let's move on to the spells. Tinky is your Beast Warrior style of reinforcement of the army. When you're able to search for your Beast Warrior monster, adding it to your hand, giving an additional attack points, you get a 2 for 2. There's really nothing bad about this because you have so many good things you can easily search for with this card. You have a lot of resources to help with this. And even though the 100 attack doesn't seem like much, let me tell you, 100 attack can be very beneficial. There are a lot of spell cards that give out, 200, 300 attack. But it's the additional stuff that comes with it that makes the card just as much. Because the attack points is just the coup de grace. Now, then we have Barrage. The card is able to destroy other cards you control to help you get a Zoodiac monster onto the board. Great for when you want to get rid of dead cards. Or you're like, okay, well, I don't need this card anymore. Or, oh, my opponent was nice enough to leave a Nibiru token on the field. I want to blow it out with my Barrage, and I want to get a Zoodiac monster and do everything that my opponent just tried to stop me to do in the first place. And because Nibiru is once per turn, I'm going to just go back to what I was doing with my combos. And that's really crucially what it's here. And if it gets blown up, you can just attach it to an Zoodiac Exceed monster. And that's not a bad thing either. So you get a 2 for 2 there. It's kind of a similar situation we're at here where multiple of these cards should spell multiple craziness. And that's why it is where it is. Cosmic Cyclone, removal of spells and traps. Instead of having to destroy them, they are banished, which is a good thing. Because remember, Duster, the only thing that Duster is, let's say this is why Duster could come back. There are a lot of cards in the game that want to be destroyed by spells and traps. There are a lot of cards that don't care if they're being destroyed because they have additional effects attached to them. Well, instead of destroying them, you can just banish them. And because they're banished, there's less of a chance that their effects are going to go off. So if they're banished, they're not going to be destroyed, which means not going to go to the graveyard, and you don't have to deal with that situation. Which is why a lot of people do like to play the Cosmic Cyclone, but you do have the option of playing Duster if that's the thing for you. Then we move on to the pot cards. It's kind of a big double-edged sword for them as well. While banishing the 10 to draw a 2 in some cases can be helpful, the Pot of Desires thing is kind of just that niche because Zoodiac doesn't have its own real floodgate of a spell. Like, well, it does have one, but it's a trap card, and it does tend to be more so of the Pot of Avarice in that sense. However, if you can dig into your hand traps, you're perfectly fine. Just know that there is a reason why you're running multiples of cards in this deck, except for Raptor, Unfortunate, and the Zoodiac Barrage. Other than that, I mean, you still have opts to playing other cards. You still have opts to getting other support and bringing it onto the board, which is where Desires is. It's kind of the same thing with Avarice, but Avarice is more so of your graveyard and the fact that you want to retrieve a lot of your Zoodiac or just your Exceed monsters in general. You want them back to the deck so that way you can climb the back up with the Exceed summons. Going from one monster to put the Dryden back onto the board. Essentially, the multiples of Tiger Mortar if she's not already doing her thing in the grave. Then the one monster reborn for the extender. Hand trap again in the forms of Infinity Permeance. Just think of Effect Veiler in a trap form. Also, benefit to this is that wherever zone this card is played in, any spell or trap cards in your opponent's side cannot be activated. So that's that's great there. It's negated, and you don't have to deal with that. So, yeah, have some fun with this one. And then Solemn Strike is just another negation on top of that. Then we move on to the X deck with the plethora of Exceed monsters. Primarily just to Exceed climb into Trident, who can blow up stuff, and Double A Zeus, who can also blow up stuff. I mean, a lot of blowing up with this. Which can be great. And then the fact that Zeus can attach material to itself when other cards you control are destroyed by battle or card effect is great too. It's just a big beat stick of monster. 3,000 attack and defense. And then your Zoodiac Climb is pretty much Tiger Mortar puts stuff on top of stuff. You have Hammer Kong that gives destruction prevention. K9 for the special summon, but remember you can't exceed with the monster that you bring back, but you can be able to link with her. So that's not too bad there. You got Dryden for the blow up, and then you got Burbo who can attack your opponent directly. And I believe if it has 12 or more material, you can send as many cards from your opponent's hand and field to the graveyard. And then change this card to defense position. But I think you do have to remove all this material, right? No, it just has to have the 12 or more cards. So that's not too hard. So see how links go. And then for the rest of the extra deck, you have your Halkui 5 Rex Link Climb. Halkui 5 Rex, so go ahead and grab Effect Veiler. I'll be going to Celine. Celine will help you get Effect Veiler. Then Veiler will help you go into XS Code Talker with Celine. So then Celine can be banished by XS Code Talker. You can blow up something and then have this thing swing for about 5k. So, yeah. And then the other one is Fortress Megalith, and this works with a lot of the effects that special summon other Exceed monsters. Then you drop this 4K monster, who can only be affected by Exceed monsters. He can't be destroyed by battle or card effects unless they're Exceed monsters doing the destruction. So, I mean, hey, that's really, really good. You can target an Exceed monster you control and a card your opponent controls, such summon the monster, then attach your opponent's monster to this card as material. So, yeah, like this is pro Exceed. And if you know Infinity Tracks, you know this is really good for them too. So, that rounds out everything that I wanted to talk about with my pure Zoodiac deck. And I hope you guys enjoy it because I enjoyed building it. I enjoyed showing it to you guys. I enjoyed playing around with it for as much time as I possibly had. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think about Zoodiac. And I actually want to know if you guys know any builds or suggestions for Zoodiac Tri Brigade. So I want to build that for January and have that going. So let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button so you guys can be known of when I do upload more content. Hit up my social medias. They're in the description box below. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a happy new year, and I'll catch you all next time. HBJ signing out. Take care.